Hello, Miss Megan. Hope you're doing well. This will be my presentation for the International Relations class, and my name is Luca Carvalho, and I chose global warming as my topic, climate change and stuff like that. I chose that because I believe that to be something that I'm really freaked out about, like how the world could just end, and how it's like that's something that like really scares me, and it's something that really interested me. uh it really interested me throughout the whole semester. And yeah. Okay, so as I said, global warming is a big concern for me, but it's not only for me, it's a major international issue. And it has like it's becoming even more of an issue as time goes by. um the The global warming is a long-term rise in the average of world temperature, and it's caused obviously by the emission of like carbon dioxide and other type of gases that I'll touch on about later on. And it's like we can actually see examples of how like the temperature is rising in absurd ways, and like by the massive melts of like Arctic ice, or like really weird weathers and stuff like that, and like horrible storms and stuff like that. We can, by those examples, we can see how the global warming is in fact affecting like the whole world. um so there is one program that is called the UN Environment Program, that's responsible for monitoring environment conditions, and it works with like world meteorological organizations, and it's sponsored by UN, as this already says in the name. Um, as we all know, and it's a fact that global warming is mostly, it's actually 100% done by human behavior, um, by by gases that I've already mentioned, like carbon dioxide, the greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane gas, nitrous oxide. All those type of gases are gases that actually affect the global warming. Um, Global warming has three big dilemmas that actually, one of the reasons why it's so hard to like fight against global warming is those three things. It's The first one is costs to gain long term short term costs to gain long term benefits. So uh, basically, what that means is that making that to solve the issues of global warming, it takes time, and it's something that, for example, like will be effective in many years to come, and it's usually not something that the governors or people want to do, because usually the people that are in control, they want to satisfy their population right now, so maybe they can come back and be reelected, because that's what politics is all about. Doing it's showing the people that you're doing the best things in the amount of years that you're gonna be in power, so you can come back to power. So basically, it's not beneficial for the politician to try to solve global warming, because it's only gonna be effective in when probably he's not even gonna be like alive. So it's not gonna be even beneficial for him. But the thing that people don't think about is that it's gonna benefit their sons, their grandsons, or even the world, like just everyone. And all they can think about is themselves, and how it's gonna benefit them or not. Um, and it's the second dilemma is that specific states and organizations are the one that pay the costs, but the benefits are distributed by like across the world, like by many international states and other kind of societies, and then that didn't really pay anything, or didn't really help in any kind of way. uh, and that's just it goes back to the fact of like just thinking about themselves. So the big countries, the countries with money, the countries that actually have all the power to um, help with global warming, are the countries that don't want to do it because they say it's unfair for them to spend all that money for something that's in other countries are not spending any money, and it's gonna help all of them. So it's kind of like oh, like do I want to help all the countries with my money kind of thing? It's kind of like that. The third the dilemma is the collective it's the collective goods dilemma among states. So benefits are shared globally, but costs must be extracted from each individual state, which is complicated because of the north-south gap thing, which is obviously it's the fact that north countries are like developed first world and second world countries with more money and better economy, and the countries in the south are the countries with the less money, economy is not as good. Um, but the crazy thing about it is the 70% of the greenhouse gases come from like those first world countries like China, like the U.S., like Japan, Russia, India, countries like that, and just and 40% of all emissions come from the U.S. and China, which is a huge, like huge amount of like gas, like greenhouses being exposed to the world. And the which is even something that's even more crazy than that is that the impact of global warming, uh, the most severe impact comes from the south. So even though countries like China, U.S. are part of like 40%, 45% of like emissions of gases, the South is the South are the countries that pollute more than the North. So it's just like crazy. There have been many like conventions and like agreements and like protocols or many of things that try to like help climate change. And there was the 92 Earth Summit uh, that was supposed to set like a non-binding goal to limit emissions, but the goal was not, it didn't really happen. There was the 97 Kyoto Protocol that actually only went into like, we started being active in like 2005. And after many years, they actually extended to like 2017, I think. There was also the Paris Climate Agreement. I think that was the biggest one. There was like almost 200 parties, like states, and that were like involved in it, kind of signed it. But and it was active in 2015. But in 2017, Trump actually said that the U.S. would not be a member of the agreement anymore. Um, there is a lot of like controversy over like the policies of like the global warming and like the expenses and who's gonna pay for them and who's gonna act on it. Uh, some people see climate change as not so much of a threat, and but some other people see it as like the biggest threat against the planet, and they want immediate like changes and they want immediate like action on it and stuff like that. It's said that more than half of the population sees climate change and global warming as a threat, but it's also a fact that like states with less money and that have they're less developed and have less the worst economies and stuff like that, they seem to have like less concern with climate change, and uh, and that's like and that's not good because obviously, as we see, global warming could be the end of the world. So the problem is that there's no really a guarantee that anybody is really gonna take action on it. Even though like we all understand that it's a big issue, it's still really hard, and international agreements and stuff like that been been proof of like how difficult it is to like form an alliance and form some kind of agreement to like make a change to like fight for Earth, fight for the planet, and it's a very slow progress, and it's for something that needs to be done now. And as we discussed like before, it's a long term that those are long term benefits, but they need to be like to be done right now. They need to start being like doing that right now. But it's already been proved that it's really hard to for countries to come into agreement and make a change.